So you moved to L.A. in 01.
Yes.
And then you met Shooter Jennings in 03.
Uh-huh.
And y'all made a record in 05.
We made the record in 04.
In 04.
It came out in, I think, February of 05.
Was that with Dave Cobb?
Yes.
Now, Dave Cobb is one of the biggest producers in Nashville, if not the, and head of RCA.
No, he's a wonderful guy, does great work. The Shooter record was one of the first records he ever produced.
In Hollywood, right there on Selma?
It was in Hollywood, right on Selma.
Yeah, man.
They rented the upstairs room at Hollywood Sound. And actually, Mark Raines, the engineer I still work with, was the engineer. He and Dave moved out from Atlanta together and rented what used to be the old reverb chamber, which was the second floor of Hollywood Sound. Wow. They converted that to a room where people could rent. So Dave and Mark rented it. And so we did our first 3 Shooter records there. We also did the Waylon Forever album, where like Shooter had a bunch of these tracks that he actually recorded with Waylon when he was like in high school. And so he basically muted everything except for Waylon's tracks. And then we re-recorded the music around Waylon's vocals and guitar.
I heard that record before. That's out there too.
It was an honor and awesome. It was pretty awesome to like be tracking with your buddies. And then you hear Waylon's voice coming through your headphones.
Awesome. That's insane,
totally awesome.
Man. The ghost of Waylon Jennings.
Yeah. No, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. So yeah, and then shortly after that run, that's when Dave moved to Nashville, and when we were touring with Shooter, some of our biggest shows were every time we'd play Nashville.
I bet,
because we had so many friends and his, of course, family history and legacy, and it felt like everybody in the industry loved us and wanted to see the show, but were a little too afraid to actually get on board because we were a little too, they would call us left of center. So it felt like all of the people that didn't want to support us or like kind of put their money where their mouth is, they would at least come to the show and enjoy it and hopefully be inspired by it, And we really felt like we were this wonderful, rebellious, part outlaw, part classic country, part Zeppelin, rock and roll, Southern rock blend. And we were very proud of the music we made and the shows we did. And I actually made some of my best friends in Nashville to this day are friends that were at some of those first Shooter shows in Nashville.
Wow.
So anyway, Dave decided to move to Nashville after that. And of course, he's wonderfully talented, but I know that there were definitely a lot of people who dug the Shooter records that he was a big part of that were like, oh, we've got to work with this guy Dave. He just slated on these Shooter albums.
Yeah, man.
So it's been great to see his success just grow with all of these wonderful artists and wonderful albums he's doing. But yeah, I did some of the first records he did were with us.
Do you know how Dave and Shooter met each other? How did that happen?
They met through a manager friend.
Got it.
Yeah. I think maybe a manager that started working with Dave but had known Shooter, or maybe he worked with whatever. Like I think Dave got a manager for production who was an old friend of Shooter's, and he was like, you guys would be a good team.
Yeah.
And I'd love to also say, particularly the first Shooter record, me and Leroy Powell, the guitar player, and Shooter really had a vision for what that. Like, of course, Shooter wrote the great songs. Actually, one of mine, Steady at the Wheel, was on it.
I love that song, man.
And we helped co-write a little bit. Leroy, I think, wrote a tune on that record, too.
Also love Leroy.
But the three of us really had a vision for what this music should sound like. And so we really came in with a plan. And then as we did more and more records with Dave, he was more and more active in like, oh, no, let's try this, let's do this. So it was wonderful to see how that team evolved. And how the band evolved,
Totally, man. Yeah, now Leroy's with Travis Tritt.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Pretty great.
And did you ever work with his brother? Because he's a brilliant drummer and works with
yes,
Dave.
I've played with Chris a bunch.
Yeah.
I actually did a few gigs with Chris and Leroy in L.A. before any of us met Shooter.
Wow.
Which was pretty great.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Who was that with?
One of the best ones was actually with their dad. Their dad loved kind of just classic country, and they had some, I don't know, it was like a gig at a VFW hall or something like that. And so the band was me on bass, Chris on drums, Leroy on guitar, and their father playing acoustic guitar and singing.
No wonder they're so talented. They grew up in that.
They grew up, yeah. And they also inspired each other, I'm sure. Also, Jay Buchanan from the Rival Sons. I didn't know this. I worked with Jay much later. He was like, I grew up with. Well, Leroy was at the time called Jason, but Jason and Chris, we were in bands together in high school, man. We did,
Yeah, he's a great singer.
Oh,
and they worked with Dave Cobb. They made several records,
and a fabulous musician.
Yeah.
Like I've done a couple things with Jay on some of his side projects, and he is just the real deal.
Well, that gig, the Cordovas Festival in Mexico.
Jay was at. Yes, I played bass with Jay down there once.
And y'all did some stuff off that Donny Hathaway live record. Would you Jealous Guy? And
heavy.
Yeah,
heavy.
He's quite a singer.
Jay can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love him. And going back to Chris Powell. So Chris and I played together on that Tanya Tucker record. Actually, the first Tanya Tucker record when her comeback, While I'm Living. And that was produced by Shooter and Brandi Carlile. And so I was in the band. Chris was the drummer.
Okay.
It was Tim and Phil Hanseroth, who worked with Brandi for years.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
The Mastersons were on that record.
Oh, okay.
And we did it at Sunset Sound. Tanya came out to L.A., and Brandi and Tim and Phil came out to L.A., and it was an incredible couple of weeks.
What room?
That was in Studio One.
Okay.
And it was just great. That's the one they made the documentary of. They had the cameras going and all that great interview stuff where Tanya and Brandi are talking. That was those couple of weeks. And that ended up getting a Grammy for Best Country Album.
Yes, I'm sitting with a Grammy winner right now.
Thank you very much. It helped me become a Grammy-winning bass player.
A deserved award, my friend.